So England beat Germany 2-0, a clean sheet against the Germans, who has been ripping that group of death, you can say, or group F in that Euro 2020, and it is going to be difficult. It was going to be difficult. So let's say in one way that Gareth Southgate's English side is actually was where the underdogs. Where the underdogs, we have the capabilities to actually win that game, but then they were second best in every game before. On paper, you can say that they're second best in every department: attack, midfield, defense, goalkeeper, everyone, and they've done it. They have done it, and England go through to the quarterfinals and will be facing Ukraine. Sweden lost to Ukraine last night, so we'll be facing Ukraine and could actually face one of those Czech Republic or Denmark in the semi-finals. That's a free run. That's actually a free run. It's actually astonishing because Germany were expected to actually put in much more efforts, or keep on creating chances and keep on giving that toughness to the defense of whatever the opposition is. And Maguire, Stones, Kyle Walker, most efficiently done by Harry Maguire. Beautiful. So we'll be discussing about this England side, how they beat Germany, what are the positive points, what are the negative points in Germany and England, and what all things were actually more important, how easy were the goals, and how Thomas Muller did miss the best chance of the game. So we'll be talking about that without wasting any time. Let's get this started. To start with the lineups, England was actually put in a lineup which I actually wished for. Saka on that right, and Sterling and Harry Kane in that striker role, Calvin Phillips and Declan Rice, then comes Luke Shaw and Kieran Trippier, Harry Maguire, Stones, Kyle Walker and Jordan Pickford. It was the best probable 11 that he could have actually selected for this round of 16 game. So it was actually so filthy, and it was going to be fun. There would be no actual problems that will be coming in that attacking output. But the main problem would be Declan Rice and Calvin Phillips. Now, Jordan Henderson could have been started ahead of them or not, we can't say, because Calvin Phillips and Rice have been starting from the very first game. So the chemistry maybe, or the form or the connection may be important in that round of 16 game, just not switch things up. But the main switch up of things is the three at the back. We haven't played three at the back in this Euros for the first time. Switching it in a main game is gonna go costly or not. It's going to be so lucky. So it was actually seen because Calvin Phillips and Declan Rice were going much more forward. There wasn't any connection between them, that when to go forward, who is going forward, and who is actually sitting back as a lone DM. So that was much more problematic, and a man in midfield was actually lacking. So the midfielders who are actually trying to, Calvin Phillips was actually going forward, bursting forward much more than ever, and Declan Rice was combining with the centre back, and Kyle Walker was going into midfield. So it actually leaves us with two centre back just with possession. So it's actually a back four system only. It actually turns into a back four. So it was a mess in that back three system, and you could have had a 3-4-1-2 system, and where we could be having one extra midfielder in Grealish or Mason Mount. So that could have actually balanced that 11v11 versus Germany, because you can't be giving players like Goretzka, Muller and Toni Kroos much more freedom. So it was actually one of those important things that midfield was so lacking, and it was frustrating in the first half because Sterling has been doing those selfish runs, and Saka, you could have actually provided to Saka and provided to Harry Kane much more chances, but he chose a wrong option in the first half. So it was frustrating as an England fan. Germany were actually waiting for the chances. They got their chance in the first half. Havertz's volley, brilliantly saved by Jordan Pickford. That was a Hollywood save, actually a Hollywood save, and it has to be given credit. And England created least of chances, couldn't be much more clearer in a final third, and it was actually worrying. It was actually worrying because against a team like Germany, you can't be giving them time, and you can't be having it 0-0 in for a long period of time, because they can snatch that victory in the last moments. They did hurt Portugal. They did actually hurt Portugal in a bad way, and others were actually so mediocre performances. But they were in form. They were actually in form, and it was actually so important for England to strike through. Raheem Sterling, beautiful. Now I talked about that midfield, that man which was lacking in midfield, Jackie Grealish, beautiful man. Now, in every game that Southgate has actually benched him, and when he has come in, he has made the difference. So why don't you start him? He has been proving it once again and again, that he needs to be started, because when he comes in, Luke Shaw and Grealish has been performing very well. They have been connecting very well, and then again a connection between Grealish and Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw with an assist, easiest of goal for Raheem Sterling. You couldn't expect German defense to be as open as that, and Sterling for a tap in is so brilliant. So brilliant. It was goosebumps. And Jose Mourinho, someone call him and have an interview with him purposely. And what do you think about Shaw, man? Now, what do you think about Shaw? So you need to be answering, and he would be answering something so dumb, because then we could be trolling him again. This has to be the stage for Harry Kane, because he has been absent in the first 3 games that we have played in group stages in Euro 2020, so we can actually bet him scoring in this game. But this is actually so important. Big game player, and it is absolutely brilliant to watch. 2-0 against the German side, who has been ripping, who has just ripped Portugal apart, and have been doing it so well. So it isn't a free pass. It isn't a free pass. The efforts had to be done, and England very well effort efficiently. 2-0 has been so brilliant. Harry Maguire, my Manchester United captain, coming up very eventful in the big game against Germany. Not like some certain Ruben Diaz, who hasn't been doing it in the bigger stages. Talking about this Germany side, we have actually said in the start of the video, that they would be creating, we should actually expect them to create loads of chances. We'll be giving those tough days for the defense, tough days for Maguire, Jones, whoever the opposition is. They'll be giving that tough phase to those defenders, and it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy, but they're disappointing. Kai Havertz not working, Timo Werner not working, Serge Gnabry came in the end, but then it wasn't again working. Toni Kroos, Thomas Muller gave England the biggest lifeline, you could say, because that goal, that 1v1 versus Jordan Pickford, I actually could bet that Thomas Muller could actually finish it, burst the net, 100 out of 100 on any other day, on any day you could actually bet on Thomas Muller that he can actually finish it, bury that net. But not today, because he has missed it. An awful miss that has cost the game. That has cost the game. The defense has been a bit more topsy-turvy. They were all over the place, but then they were opened up very easily to, at times, Saka doing those runs, those crosses, Sterling, and Maguire having a header. Then these kind of chances did occur for England in the first half. Then Germany should be doing better. Now you could actually say this wasn't actually expected from Germany before the game, that they would be so lackluster, so confused in creating chances, or in the final third. So that actually disappointing from Germany's point of view. Finally, England progress to the quarterfinals, and we'll be facing Ukraine. France, the world champions, are out. They're out by Switzerland. You could imagine, they're out by Switzerland. So lackluster performance again. Portugal has been out. I've been trying to put a video on that, but then I couldn't do it. It's not like I'm not watching games. I'm watching every game from now on. I didn't watch a Sweden game last night. Should have watched it, because that was a big drama as well. In scoring that winner in the 120 plus 1 is actually so heartbreaking for Sweden and Victor Lindelof. And then it was magical. So round of 16 and quarterfinal matches aren't to be missed from now on. Czech Republic and Denmark, that's going to be massive as well. And then Belgium, Italy. I assure you that with that Belgium-Italy game, I'll be doing that review, and I'll be sharing what I actually thought about the game. So that's my promise that that review is gonna come. So so if you like the video, please hit that like button. If you're yet to subscribe, please hit that subscribe button. So we'll be talking about much more footballing concepts, and much more in detail. I was actually tweeting much more. I was in Twitter all day long about this Euro 2020, and I'll be tweeting any much more stuffs in that. And you can say that football is going to another level. Actually, going to another level. It has become an open Euro 2020 now. Whoever wins it, you won't know England could win it. You won't know actually this Czech Republic can win it. So anything can happen. Every game, predictions are gonna be topsy turvy. Just get on with your predictions, get on with the instincts. Comment below if you have any predictions that's been so weird, or what do you think is so confident. So we'll be meeting in the next video. Until then, stay home, stay safe. Goodbye.